Billionaire's shocking illness reveals incredible family secrets, 7 life-changing truths exposed. The sun glistened off the rusting rooftops of Maplewood as the news blasted across the town. Samuel Hawthorne, the local billionaire, was diagnosed with a terminal illness. The whispers erupted like firecrackers at the town diner. "You see, he always acted so high and mighty, didn't he? This is the man who once roamed these streets as a scrappy young mechanic, shaking fists and chasing dreams." Suddenly, it felt like the ground beneath their feet was shaking too. In the heart of it all stood Alex Turner, a 38-year-old single father, with worry etched on his face. He ran his family's auto repair shop, a sanctuary of grease and grit. Every day was a hustle, each hour ticked away in the hum of machinery, all to ensure his 17-year-old daughter, Emily, could chase her dream of becoming an engineer. He poured everything he had into her future because tuition loomed ahead like a storm cloud. As locals gathered at the diner, Alex felt an unexpected sensation rise within him, a mixture of hope and indignation. People rallied behind Samuel, recalling the charity work he'd done. "He's the reason our park got fixed up," they said. Others scoffed, their faces hard. "Yeah, but remember how he left this town behind? Trade in a wrench for a boardroom, real classy." Alex took a long breath. He had to remind them about the common roots they shared, the tired hands, the aching backs. Just like many of us here, Samuel started from nothing, he called out, pushing through the rising tensions. He could almost hear Emily cheering him on. If anyone could instigate change in this town, it was him. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. That meeting wasn't just about Samuel anymore. It was about them, about burying differences deep beneath shared pain. Everyone began to nod. The air thrummed with potential, a chance to heal. But then the doubt seeped back in. Another townsperson shouted, "What about his family? They're not even from here." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Who were they to forgive? Just as Alex thought they might stand united, a rumor snaked through the meeting. Samuel's own brother had come forward, claiming that their family history held unspeakable truths. Betrayal crackled like electricity in the air. Was this billionaire truly a man of the people, or had he woven himself a throne atop the backs of those he'd left behind? Alex's heart raced. How could he confront these accusations without tarnishing the legacy he'd worked so hard to uphold? Should he protect his own reputation or bring the truth to light? As he opened his mouth to speak, a haunting silence filled the room. Everyone's eyes were on him, waiting for a sign, a direction. Should he reveal his own secret, the one that tied him closer to Samuel than anyone would expect? Just then, his chest tightened, uncertain of what the future held. Would the storm break forth, or was there still a chance for unity? Alex's mind raced, thoughts colliding with each other like cars in a tangled heap. He felt the weight of the town's gaze on him. The seconds stretched, each one heavy with expectation. What could he say? The truth was a double-edged sword. If he spoke it, he would risk being cast out from a community that had always been his anchor. But if he stayed silent, he'd be hiding a part of himself, a part that bound him irrevocably to Samuel Hawthorne. "Listen," Alex finally said, his voice shaky but louder than he expected. "I know there's a lot of anger and frustration in this room. Believe me, I feel it, too." He paused, glancing around as hands gripped tables and faces turned toward him. "But we can't forget that Samuel is still one of us. He grew up under the same sky, faced the same struggles. He might have left, but his roots are here, just like ours." "Roots?" A voice shot back from the crowd. "Roots don't justify betrayal. He turned his back on us." The harsh words hung in the air like smoke from a newly extinguished fire. Alex took a breath. He couldn't let the negativity drown him. Fighting to maintain his composure, He thought of Emily and the life he wanted for her. Let us not allow resentment to blind us. Maybe this illness can be a chance for us to heal, not just him, but us as a community. Before he could continue, a familiar voice interrupted. That's an inspiring speech, Alex, but we need more than words. It was Mary Connors, the elderly woman who had once owned the bakery. Her presence carried weight, and everyone quieted to hear her. We need accountability. What if the things Samuel's brother is saying are true? What if he has hidden more lies? A nervous buzzing filled the diner, feet shuffled, and chairs creaked. Alex's heart sank. Could Samuel really be hiding something that could shatter hopes of reconciliation? Just then, a shadow crossed the doorway. Samuel's brother, Michael, stood tall, framed against the bright sunlight spilling through the diner door. The crowd fell silent, breaths held in anticipation. Michael surveyed the room, a storm of emotions flashing across his face. You don't know the half of it, he said, his voice steady but laced with an edge. There's a reason Samuel isolated himself from this town. He stepped further inside, and all eyes locked onto him, waiting for the truth that everyone feared. What do you mean? Alex managed to ask, feeling an overwhelming mix of anxiety and curiosity wash over the room. There are secrets that have festered for years, Michael said, pain etched in his features. Secrets about family, about betrayal, about why Samuel left this place in the first place. He paused, letting the gravity of his words sink in. And whether you want to hear it or not, those secrets are about to come to light. The crowd gasped, a rising murmur echoed around the diner. Was this the revelation they had been waiting for, or the beginning of total chaos? Alex could feel the tension like a thick fog, stifling and electric. He stood at the center of it all, a man divided. Should he protect the image of the man they once looked up to, or embrace the truth, however painful it might be? And then, in that heavy silence, amidst the uncertainty and the growing whispers, Alex made a choice. Let us hear what he has to say. As the words left his mouth, he felt a sense of liberation, even if fear threatened just beneath the surface. It was time for secrets to unravel, for truths to emerge. But what would that mean for Maplewood, and for him? The diner held its breath, clutching onto the moment as the stage was set for revelations that could change everything. Would Samuel's legacy emerge intact, or would it lay shattered at their feet? Michael stepped further into the diner, his presence almost overwhelming as he took a moment to gather his thoughts. The crowd leaned in, searching his face for answers. Samuel left this town because he thought he had to, Michael began, his gaze unwavering. But it wasn't just the ambition or the yearning for something different. It was fear of what he might find out if he stayed. And I'm here today to reveal a truth that many of you have been too afraid to face. Our family was not what it seemed. The air thickened, a mix of anxiety and curiosity, like the thick humidity before a storm. Alex could feel the pulse of the room, the collective heartbeat quickening. Years ago, Michael continued, when Samuel was still just a kid, something happened, something that rocked our family to its core. You remember the fire? The one that destroyed old Miller's barn? Nods swept through the crowd. It was a tragic event that everyone could recall, the echo of sirens and frantic shouting still fresh in their minds. Samuel was blamed for that fire, though he had nothing to do with it. It was my father's way to protect our family's reputation. He didn't want any scandal. Michael's voice wavered slightly, raw emotion hanging between every word. But the truth is, Samuel found out things he wasn't supposed to know. He discovered a family secret, something about our mother and the kind of life we really lived. Gasps echoed around the room, eyes wide with shock. Alex felt the energy shift, the fixation on Michael's words snared everyone's attention. This was not just about Samuel, it was about them all. Samuel thought it was easier to leave than to confront the reality of our past, Michael continued, his voice growing stronger. But now that he is sick, he can't run anymore. And I am here to bring that truth to light. To let you know that what you think you know about him and our family is only half the story. What does that mean? Someone in the back shouted, breaking the growing tension. It means the things you think you've seen or heard, those aren't the only truths. We all carry our own burdens and secrets. Some of you may have judged Samuel based on your own fear of the unknown. Michael locked eyes with Alex. But those judgments are what keep us from healing together. As a community. At that moment, a dread filled Alex's gut. What if Samuel's past was darker than any of them could imagine? How could they reconcile their memories of the boy they grew up with against the man who had left them behind? Samuel needs help. He needs us, Michael urged, his tone pleading. Before it's too late. I need you to understand what he really faced. This isn't just about him anymore, it's about all of us. We need to face our shadows together. The room fell silent once again. The weight of Michael's words hung thick in the air. It was all starting to unravel. The bonds they thought they had were tangled in a web of lies and secrets, consuming them from within. Alex felt the pulse of uncertainty, the fear mingling with fragments of hope. Could there be a way for them all to move forward? Would healing really be possible? Just then, a soft cry broke through the tension. Emily, standing near the door, her small figure shadowed but determined, said, "You said you would come home, Daddy. But how can we fix what we don't even understand?" Her innocent words pierced through the chaos, calling for clarity in a storm of confusion. As the diner erupted into whispers and murmurs, Alex stood still, deep within thought. Could they really confront the past and find a way back to each other? Or would the truth prove too painful to bear? The answer to those questions awaited them all. And as the diner held its breath once more, Alex braced himself for the reality that was about to challenge everything he thought he knew. What was the next revelation that would change the course of their lives? Emily's voice echoed in the diner, pulling Michael from his thoughts and forcing the others to reckon with a reality they weren't prepared to face. The din of murmurs quieted as they absorbed the weight of her question. "Daddy," Emily pressed, stepping tentatively closer. "You promised." Michael's face fell, regret swimming in his eyes. She was right, Samuel had always promised he'd return to his family, to make things right. But how could he do that now, when the truth was waiting to be unveiled like a ticking bomb in a crowded room? A few patrons exchanged worried glances, the tension wrapping around them like barbed wire. Alex could feel the heat of shame creeping into his cheeks. Growing up, he never realized how deeply fear had woven itself into their lives. It had masked decisions, friendships, even their very identities. "How do we help him, Michael?" A voice cried from the back, shaking slightly as if the question carried an unspoken dread. Michael took a shaky breath, a mix of defiance and vulnerability evident on his face. "We need to unmask the truths that have been buried. Samuel took the blame to protect us, but that sacrifice can't remain in vain. We have to understand what he faced, and we can start by confronting our own secrets. Only then can we be a true family again." A heartfelt murmur swept across the diner, drawing everyone's attention back to their shared experiences, pain, and fear. Alex saw the flicker of recognition pass through the crowd. They all knew misgivings and clandestine truths. They had all played their part, consciously or not. "What if we don't like what we find?" someone asked softly, breaking the silence that had enveloped them. The uncertainty hung heavily, and Alex's heart raced at the mere thought. What lay beneath the surface of their lives? "Trust has already been broken," Michael countered, his voice bolstered by conviction. "But it's never too late to rebuild. To face the shadows and let the light in. We owe it to Samuel, to ourselves, and to Emily." The diner stirred as they processed Michael's words. There was both fear and hope simmering in their hearts. Could perhaps this confrontation of their past bring about the healing they all desired? Alex stood there, feeling a weight upon him, a realization striking hard. "What if we all shared our stories?" he suggested, cautiously. "What if we opened up about our burdens and our fears? Isn't that how families heal?" The suggestion hung in the air, a fragile idea with the potential to break open everything they kept suppressed. The energy in the room shifted again, this time charging with a tentative excitement, as people began to nod, whispering to one another. The patrons turned towards Michael, eyes filled with questions, concerns that danced in the shadows of their minds, begging to be shed into daylight. Would they really strip away the layers of their lives to grasp the truth, no matter how painful? Suddenly, the door swung open, and the bell chimed. In stepped an unexpected figure, shattering the moment. A stranger, soaked from the rain, Rebecca, carry a file and an unmistakable urgency in her expression. "Michael," she called out, taking a hurried step forward. "You need to see this. It's about Samuel." The diner froze. The crowd's tension heightened as if the walls themselves leaned closer, wanting to hear the secrets wrapped in Rebecca's file. Alex's heart pounded loudly in his chest. What news could possibly twist their unraveling truths further? As Rebecca approached, the mystery of her arrival threatened to redefine everything they had been discussing. Alex sensed that there would be no turning back. Whatever was revealed next could change not just their understanding of Samuel but their very lives. What awaited them behind the threshold of that file? The air crackled with tension as Rebecca rushed forward, the file clutched tightly in her hands. Her eyes darted around, searching for someone, anyone, who might understand the urgency of her presence. The diner, once filled with murmurs, now held its breath, the weight of unspoken fears pressing down. "Michael, you need to see this," Rebecca insisted, her voice a blend of desperation and determination. She opened the file, revealing documents filled with names, dates, and clipped newspaper articles. "I didn't know how else to tell you, but Samuel's case it's more complicated than you think." Michael took a step closer, his heart racing. The ink on the pages seemed to blur as he caught sight of familiar yet unsettling names. "What do you mean? What is going on?" Rebecca swallowed hard before replying. "It's about the people who were involved. Samuel wasn't just a scapegoat, he was part of a larger scheme." The word hung in the air, heavy and foreboding. Alex shifted uncomfortably, the faces around him filled with confusion and dread. A scheme? What kind of scheme? She took a deep breath, collecting her thoughts. It seems Samuel stumbled onto something dangerous. He took responsibility to protect you all, but now, he's being framed. Gasps erupted around the diner, the revelation crackling like lightning. Emily's small frame stiffened as she struggled to process the weight of her father's choices. Michael's hand reached out to touch her shoulder, steadying her as he turned to Rebecca. "What do you know?" Rebecca pointed to a particular article, her voice steadying. Here this was about illegal activities tied to a business partner of Samuel's. He didn't just go to prison for nothing. He was trying to silence him. Eyes widened in dismay, whispers turned into frantic chatter. Questions whirled in the air, colliding and bouncing off the diner's disbelief. Uncertainty became a living thing, growing and pulsating, as Alex felt the reality of their world shift beneath them. "Why didn't we know any of this?" A woman from the back finally voiced, frustration laced through her tone. "How could he protect us if he didn't share?" "That's the thing," Rebecca said, her expression softening. "He thought he was protecting you all from the truth, the darkness surrounding everything. But in doing so, he may have put you directly in its path." Michael rubbed his temples lightly, a storm of emotions whirling behind his eyes. "We need to figure this out. We need to go back to Samuel. If he's in danger, we can't just sit here." Emily, holding tightly to her father's arm, spoke up, her small voice breaking through. "Daddy, I want us to be together again. I want it for Samuel too, please." There was something so raw in her plea that a silence fell, wrapping all of them in its warmth. Alex could feel the weight of her words, a reminder of innocence caught in a storm of adult choices and consequences. "Okay," Michael finally said, his voice firm. "We'll do this together. We'll dig deeper. We'll uncover the truth." As the crowd murmured their agreement, the tension shifted. No longer fear, but determination began to surge through the room. They could face this together as a family. Standing in the dim light of the diner, Alex stole a look at Rebecca, whose expression was relieved but solemn. But at that moment, he knew they were at a turning point. A sense of urgency filled him. "What do we need to do first?" he asked, ready to act. Yet deep down, he felt the pull of another worry. If Samuel was truly in danger, who else was watching? The door swung open again, the bell ringing, and another figure stepped in, tension reignited. It was a man, unrecognizable but exuding a confidence that sent shivers down Alex's spine. "Is this the right place for Michael?" he inquired, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. The diner held its breath once more, and Alex's chest tightened at the unknown reveal coming their way. Would this man bring answers or twist the knife deeper? Michael's gaze locked onto the stranger, the unease coiling tighter in his chest. He could feel the eyes of everyone in the diner boring into him, a collective anticipation hanging thick in the air. "Who are you?" he demanded, trying to mask the tremor of apprehension in his voice. The man smiled, but there was something unsettling about it, too polished, too rehearsed. "I'm Lucas Collins. I work closely with your father's business interests. We need to talk." "About what?" Michael said, maintaining a defensive stance, protective instincts flaring. His mind raced. Could this guy be connected to everything they had just uncovered about Samuel? "Your father is gravely ill," Lucas said, his tone shifting suddenly to a somber note. "He's been trying to hide it, but the situation has become critical. You need to return home." Michael felt the room tilt slightly. The implications of Lucas's words crashed over him like a wave. He had only thought about Samuel's plight, his focus narrowly fixed on one thread of a much larger web. "Ill? How bad?" Lucas hesitated, taking a step closer, lowering his voice. "It's serious. He's been under stress from your mother's ongoing struggle and the pressure of various business dealings. The doctors are concerned. If you don't act quickly, there may not be a chance to resolve things." Stunned silence swallowed the room again. Michael glanced at Emily, whose eyes had gone wide with disbelief. He could feel Rebecca's presence behind him, her energy wavering like a candle's flame. "So what's the deal?" Alex interjected, determined to cut through the tension. "You waltz in here with a shocking revelation about Michael's father and expect us to just leave?" "I understand this is a lot to process," Lucas said, his voice clipped but steady. "But there's a correlation between your father's condition and Samuel's case. The two are intertwined in ways you may not comprehend yet. You are all in danger if this doesn't get addressed soon." "Danger?" Michael's voice cracked as he felt the ground beneath him crumble. He was no stranger to fear, but this revelation flared a deep-seated dread inside him. "This is about protecting your family," Lucas continued, managing an air of urgency that filled the diner with a chilling seriousness. "There are things your father didn't want you to know, secrets that if uncovered could destroy everything he has built. And Samuel may be at the center of it." The murmurs surged again, a wave of uncertainty washing over the crowd. This was bigger than Samuel, bigger than they had all imagined. Alex's heart raced, mind churning through the implications of what Lucas had just dropped on them. "Let us say we believe you," Michael challenged, stepping forward slightly. "What do we do next? What can we really do against whatever's looming over us?" Lucas met his gaze, a flicker of respect mingling with something shrewd. "First, you need to recognize the threat. Then, rally around Samuel while managing your family ties. I can help with access to information and resources, but the choice to trust me is completely yours." In that moment, a flicker of resolve ignited in Michael's eyes. What if this was their way in? What if Lucas held the key to not just saving Samuel but unraveling the truth? But alongside this hope, a gnawing question lodged deep inside: would trusting a stranger lead them deeper into a trap or closer to salvation? "Fine," Michael said at last, hands balling into fists, shaking off uncertainty. "But if we do this, we do it together. And if things turn sour, well, just know we won't be taken down quietly." The weight of his words settled heavily, a promise and a challenge all at once. They needed to be ready for whatever lay ahead. As Lucas nodded, a hint of resolve in his expression, Alex still felt a lingering fear. Was this man truly there to help, or was he yet another layer of danger? And in the midst of this brewing storm of revelations, a thought pierced through Alex's mind: could they truly navigate this path, and could they do it before it was too late? The doorbell chimed again, and Alex turned. Instinctively, sensing more change was coming their way. He felt it, a vibration of more secrets waiting to unfold. What else were they about to uncover? The bell jingled again, more urgent this time, tugging at Alex's attention like a siren call. He turned, anticipating another face, another twist in an already chaotic day. And then he saw her tall, elegant, with a fierce determination in her eyes. It was his sister, Mia, bursting in like a whirlwind. "Mia!" he exclaimed, his heart racing. "What are you doing here?" "Mama called me," she's panicking. "She said there's something going on with Dad," Mia said, her breath coming in quick bursts. She locked eyes with Michael and the tension in the diner thickened. "We need to figure this out together." Lucas blinked slowly, assessing Mia. The room felt smaller, a bubble of urgent family connection forming. "You all need to understand the stakes here," he interjected sharply, trying to reclaim control of the moment. Mia shot him a skeptical look, her protective instincts shining through. "Who exactly are you, and why should we trust you?" Before Lucas could respond, Michael stepped up, finding his voice amid the chaos. "He's here to help, or at least he says he is. Dad's health is deteriorating, and the business is at risk. We may not have time to go through this one by one." Mia swallowed hard. "Okay, fine. What do we know so far?" Emily squeezed Michael's arm, her anxiety palpable. "We just heard from Lucas that everything is connected. Samuel's case, Dad's illness, it's all intertwined, and if we don't act fast, we could lose everything." Mia shook her head, trying to process it all. "Lost what? The business? Our family? What exactly are we fighting against?" "The truth," Lucas replied, his voice becoming more urgent. "You need to peel back the layers of lies that have been woven around your father's decisions. There are powerful entities involved, interested in keeping things quiet." Alex could sense the fear radiating off his sister. Family had always been their anchor, and now it felt like their foundation was crumbling. "We can't let fear dictate our decisions, Mia. What if there's a way to save Samuel and Dad? Together." Michael added, his voice strong and unwavering. "We get through this together, as a family. All of us." He glanced at Lucas. "But you need to take us to whatever information you have. Right now." Lucas shifted his weight, considering the request. "All right, but it's going to get heavy, and you must be prepared to face truths that may shatter your understanding of your family's past." "Bring it on," Mia said defiantly. "We can handle it." Alex felt adrenaline stirring. The air buzzed with a curious mix of anxiety and fierce loyalty. They had come to a fork in the road, the choice to either continue down a path of ignorance or forge ahead, swords raised, ready to battle whatever demons lay ahead. "I'll do it," Michael said, determination etched on his face. "Whatever it takes. It's time we confront this as a family. We owe it to ourselves and to Samuel." As they gathered around, a sudden noise from the back of the diner turned all their heads. A figure cloaked in shadow emerged from the entrance. The air shifted, a sharp chill running down Alex's spine. This wasn't just about family secrets anymore. This was a race against time, against shadows that loomed closer each moment. "Who are you?" Lucas asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Just someone who knows the truth," the figure said, stepping into the light. An icy realization dawned upon Alex. What more secrets did they carry, and how deeply were they intertwined with their family's legacy? More questions hung in the air, pushing them all to the brink. Would this visitor turn the tide in their favor or lead them into the darkest depths of their father's history? The figure stepped forward, shedding shadows like a winter coat. Alex couldn't shake the sensation that this was more than a coincidence. The diner, usually a haven of laughter and warmth, felt like it was shrinking around them, each stool and table absorbing heat, leaving only a cold knot of apprehension hanging in the air. "Who sent you?" Mia demanded, her voice assertive but shaky. "Your father," the figure said, and Alex thought he saw a flicker of sympathy cross their face. "He's in trouble, deeper than you know." "What do you mean?" Michael's voice cracked slightly, an edge of desperation creeping in. Lucas stepped in between them and the stranger, his expression hardening. We don't have time for games. You have information, so share it. Information, the figure repeated, their voice lowering. It's a heavy burden. Lives can change or shatter when the truth comes to light. Just tell us. Alex said, stepping closer, the weight of his sister's and brother's eyes boring into him. It ignited something reckless within him, a fear he could no longer ignore. If what you say about Dad is true, we need to know now. A tense quiet engulfed the diner. The smell of coffee mixed with the distinct scent of fear, wrapping around all of them. The figure sighed heavily, as if preparing to share a wound that had long been festering. Your father has been hiding his true health condition for years. There's more than just illness at play. He's involved with individuals who, well, let us just say they don't play fair. Like Samuel? Mia's brow furrowed, connecting the dots. The figure nodded slowly. Yes, his situation is connected to your father's dealings. Samuel's illness isn't merely a medical issue, it's tied to a much larger financial and ethical web. The stakes are much higher, and many lives are hanging in the balance, including yours. Michael's grip tightened on Emily's hand, as if strength from one could somehow bolster both. If we know the truth, then we can fight back, right? The figure hesitated, the weight of their secrets hanging. But the truth comes with consequences. You'll face enemies you never saw coming, and protecting each other may become the hardest thing you've ever done. Alex's heart raced faster. The idea of facing darkness was daunting, but watching his family endure pain was a far greater fear. We cannot stay in the dark anymore. We'll fight together. The figure softened, almost imperceptibly. Then prepare yourselves. What lies ahead will test each of you, your loyalty, your love, and your resolve. Sometimes, the truth hurts more than the lies. Just then, the diner door slammed against the wall as a gust of wind swept in. Startled, everyone turned to see a man standing there, panting heavily. His eyes darted around the diner, falling on the cloaked figure and then shifting directly to Alex. I need to talk to you all now. It's about your father and the people he's involved with. They're coming for you. Every heart in that room seemed to skip a beat. The air thickened with dread, confusion melting into fear. Would they ever truly be prepared for what was coming? Who are you? Mia asked, voice trembling once more, her bravado cracking. The stranger took a step forward, sinking deeper into the hash of worry already clasping the room, as his next words loomed large. I know things about your father that will change everything you think you know about him and you. A palpable silence descended. It was clear, this wasn't just about saving their family anymore. It was a fight against time, truth, and an unseen enemy. They stood on the precipice of something monumental, but as footsteps echoed softly, Alex wondered if they were equipped to face it. Would the truth fortify their bond, or tear them apart? With adrenaline pumping, the air electric with uncertainty, they turned toward the newcomers, ready to confront whatever lay ahead. But would they be strong enough to face the unimaginable? The man took a deep breath, his face drawn with urgency. You need to listen. Your father has made a lot of enemies. People who won't hesitate to hurt him or anyone close to him. He scanned the room, meeting each of their eyes one by one, as if weighing their resolve. What do you mean by enemies? Lucas stepped forward. His voice was firm, but his eyes betrayed the hint of panic flickering beneath. Is he in immediate danger? Yes, the man replied, and his voice broke slightly. And I'm afraid it's only going to escalate. You have to be careful. They're already watching. Mia's eyes narrowed in determination. What can we do? You're talking about our dad. He deserves a chance to explain. The stranger shook his head, frustration mingling with the urgency in his tone. It's not that simple. The people he's involved with, they won't just let you confront him and ask questions. They'll strike back before you even get the words out. Alex felt a chill creep over him. So, there's no way to talk to him without putting ourselves in danger? The figure in the cloak, who had remained silent until now, stepped closer. You may have to confront the truth yourselves, without your father's guidance. You need information that he might not even possess. Find out the whole story. What story? Michael asked, dread pooling in the pit of his stomach. What has he done? Your father made a significant investment with consequences he never anticipated. He viewed it as harmless, just another business deal, but it's tangled with the underground market, money laundering, and the man hesitated, glancing at the cloaked figure, who nodded in encouragement for him to continue. And there are lives at stake. Samuel isn't the only one affected. This involves people who will stop at nothing to protect their interests. A handful of whispers erupted among the group. They exchanged glances filled with uncertainty, fear, and determination. It all felt surreal, but deep down, they knew it had become their reality. What do we do? Emily, usually so quiet, spoke up, her voice shaky but audible. How can we save him? The man's expression softened for a brief moment. You'll need to act quickly, but you won't be able to do it alone. You must gather information, connect the dots. This could lead you to a broader conspiracy. If you can uncover the truth, you may find a way to save him. But know this, you'll be putting yourselves at risk each step of the way. Lucas spoke again, resolve solidifying in his voice. We won't let him down. We'll figure this out together. Mia, feeling a flicker of hope, nodded vigorously. But how do we start? The figure raised a gloved hand, illustrating there was still much to unravel. The first clue lies far from here at your father's office. There are documents, communications, and programs that can reveal an untold story. You'll need to move under the radar. Be careful. Alex's heartbeat surged with adrenaline. The thought of entering his father's world was both familiar and terrifying. Would they shatter whatever fragile foundation remained in their family? Okay, he breathed, determination rising within him. We'll do it. No matter what it takes. As they set their minds on the daunting task ahead, the diner felt strangely like a sanctuary, a momentary pause before the storm. But as they prepared to rise from their seats, the more profound question loomed in every heart. If they dared to uncover the truth, what new dangers might they awaken? With flickering courage coursing through their veins, they steeled themselves for the next phase of their journey, each of them grappling with their own swirling emotions. This was more than just a family crisis. It was the beginning of a battle that would change everything. Little did they know, the shadows they sought to confront were already closing in, waiting for their next move. Would they be ready to face the consequences that the truth would bring? As the group prepared to move towards the unknown, unease settled among them like a heavy fog. Each glance exchanged spoke volumes, fear, determination, and a flicker of hope rippling through the air. Alex took a deep breath, the weight of urgency crashing upon him. Listen, he said, rallying everyone's spirit. We need to stick together. No matter what we uncover, we face it as one family. We keep our minds open and our hearts steady. Emily reached out, squeezing her father's hand, her eyes wide and earnest. We can do this, Daddy. We have to. With steely resolve, Michael nodded. Let us head to the office. The sooner we move, the sooner we can protect our father. As they filed out of the diner, the onlookers gave them curious, questioning glances, but their focus remained unwavering. The stakes were higher than any of them could have anticipated, and this was the moment that would decide their path. The city streets felt different now, charged with a mix of adrenaline and the weight of uncertainty. Each step toward Samuel's office was a step deeper into the labyrinth of their family's tangled history. A few blocks down, they finally reached the imposing building. The modern facade loomed over them, cold and unyielding, hiding countless secrets behind its glass doors. Lucas led the way, urgency radiating in his movements. We need to be discreet. Look around. The air felt electric as they stepped into the sleek lobby. The sound of their footsteps echoed against the marble floor, making the stakes feel even more pronounced. Alex scanned the room, his heart pounding. They were out of their depth, but he was not about to let fear inch its way into their collective resolve. As they approached the elevator, Lucas pressed the button for the top floor. This is where the documents are stored, everything to do with your father's recent investments. After a moment that stretched like an eternity, the elevator doors finally opened and they stepped inside, a nervous silence filling the small space as the car whirred upward. Alex could feel his heart racing, beads of sweat tingling at his temples despite the cool air conditioning. When they reached the top floor, the tension intensified. Lucas led the way down a dimly lit hallway, stopping in front of a heavy wooden door. "This is it," he whispered. "If the truth is in here, it won't be pretty." Michael pushed the door open, and they flooded into the office, eyes scanning the room for clues. It was filled with plush furniture and walls lined with dark wood, but the atmosphere felt stifling. "Look for anything that stands out," Alex instructed, a sense of purpose igniting his voice. As they split up to search, Alex rifled through drawers and papers, the ink smudged under his fingertips, recalling moments of his past childhood, memories of his father, happier moments now tinged with the uncertainty of the present. Suddenly, Rebecca gasped, her voice breaking through the silence. "Over here." They rushed toward her. Sprawled across the desk was a stack of documents. They revealed details of numerous transactions, the kind that sent shivers down Alex's spine. "These are all tied to the underground market," Rebecca breathed. "This is what we feared." "What does this mean?" Emily murmured, her brow furrowed. "It means our father's investments were not just about business, he was involved in something far darker," Michael answered, knuckles white as he gripped the edge of the desk. An uncomfortable realization washed over them. Their father had become ensnared in a web of deceit, sacrificing integrity for profit. But as a collective force of family, could they confront the consequences of that betrayal? "I think we have enough here to confront him," Alex asserted, energized by a surge of determination. "We can't let this slide. If Samuel's life is tied to these secrets, even our lives are at stake." Just then, the office door swung open. A man entered, eyes surveying the room. His presence was commanding, filled with a sense of danger. "What do you think you're doing?" he sneered. Adrenaline shot through Alex's veins. They were not prepared for another confrontation, but backing down wasn't an option. "Who are you?" Mia demanded, striding protectively in front of Emily. The man's expression twisted into a mocking smile. "Let's just say I'm the one who keeps things in their rightful place. And it seems you've strayed too far too fast." They were trapped. The air turned thick with tension, and Alex could see fear flash in the eyes of his family. "Everyone, step back," Lucas snapped, positioning himself strategically. He clearly had faced danger before. "Run!" Michael shouted. Chaos erupted as they scrambled, hearts pounding, as the reality of their pursuit sank in. They burst toward the door, but the man stepped between them and escape. "Not so fast," he hissed. With a quick decision driven by necessity, Alex turned and grabbed a stack of papers from the desk. "You want this back?" he challenged, thrusting the documents forward like a shield. "Then let us go. My father deserves a chance to hear the truth. All of it." The room held its breath, tension crackled and turned their world upside down, defining that moment as pivotal. The man hesitated, tension sparking in the air. "Bold move," he replied, his voice dripping with contempt. But naive. This was more than just a fight for information. It had transformed into a battle for survival. As the man moved toward them, Lucas lunged forward. "Get out." And they surged past him, darting into the hallway as adrenaline propelled their escape. Beneath the weight of uncertainty, they raced towards the elevator, wide-eyed. And as they rushed toward freedom, Alex realized that whatever else lay ahead, they would face it together, a united front against the rampant chaos at their doorstep. As the elevator doors closed behind them, the lingering question pulsed in the air: what price would they pay for the truth? And was their family strong enough to bear the burden of what lay ahead? Determined and fervent, they rode down, knowing the real battle was just beginning. There was no turning back now. They were committed to unearth legends of the past and strive for the future of their family, even if it meant diving into the darkness headfirst. This was their moment. Would they emerge victorious, or would the truths they uncovered destroy everything they knew about each other? The ground solidified beneath their feet as the elevator doors opened. They stepped into a world now tainted but filled with purpose, ready to face whatever came next. This was their chance. And as Alex held Emily's hand tightly, one thing was clear: they would fight for their father, for Samuel, and for each other, proving that family bonds could weather even the stormiest skies. And little did they know, the path ahead would not just challenge their resolve, it would redefine their very understanding of love, loyalty, and truth itself. Hold on tight, the journey was only beginning. Now that you've reached the finale, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it really makes a difference. Comment down below your reactions and feelings about this ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.